Hallo, ik ben Sander Kaasjager, de handelsraad op de Nederlandse ambassade in Warschau. Waarom zaken doen in Polen? Toen ik hier aankwam, 3,5 jaar geleden, had ik een beeld in mijn hoofd van Polen als een voormalig Oostblokland met een grote achterstand op westerse economieën. Dat is al lang niet meer zo. Over de volle breedte is deze economie sterk ontwikkeld. Op allerlei terreinen, van automotive tot duurzame mobiliteit, landbouw, hernieuwbare energie. Het is de 5e economie in Europa en hard op weg om ooit die top 3 te halen. De Nederlandse export is met 30% gestegen vorig jaar en inmiddels zelfs Spanje voorbij. Ecoris heeft gezegd in een rapport dat Polen het grootste handelspotentieel voor Nederland heeft in heel Europa.
Ik ben David Reuling van de Nederlandse ambassade in Tsjechië. Heeft u interesse in zaken doen in Tsjechië? Kom dan naar de Central Europe Day van RVO. Tsjechië is vlakbij. Het ligt in het achterland van Rotterdam en het is maar 7 uur rijden vanaf de Nederlandse grens. Er zijn hier ook volop kansen voor het Nederlandse bedrijfsleven. In circulaire economie, in slimme mobiliteit en vergeet ook niet de ongelooflijk goed ontwikkelde industrie hier in Tsjechië. Tot slot, Tsjechië ligt heel centraal in Europa. Zuid- en Oost-Duitsland zijn vlakbij en Zuid-Polen, Slowakije en Oostenrijk ook. Ik hoop u daar te zien.
Interesting to know a bit more, and hey, to see Sanne again in the video in Dutch, so I hope you could understand it. But when we are going to post this video in a few weeks, there'll be subtitles as well, so you can watch it again and in English as well. So we have our next guest here, Auke Boeren, and you are the Business Development Coordinator of Central Europe and Eastern Europe.
Yeah, we cover the whole region as a business development team. So indeed, we're basically from Poland to Kazakhstan and all the way down to Turkey. But indeed, today we focus on Central Europe, of course, and that's also part of my portfolio.
Yeah, good to have you here because you're here, well, as the Netherlands Enterprise Agency, of course. And would you like to share how the Netherlands Enterprise Agency could actually help entrepreneurs?
Thanks for the opportunity. And indeed, I think as a Netherlands Enterprise Agency, RVO, we are there to support Dutch companies in any way in their international business. That can be, of course, at the very start, and then a business day like today is very useful. But of course, also other instruments like sector studies. Sometimes we have business weeks. I would say, first of all, check out the website of RVO, which has tons of useful information on all the different countries that companies can do business on. But also, if you are a bit further in the process, RVO has various instruments available where companies can expand their business, improve their business. The Netherlands Enterprise Agency is here to help Dutch companies with their international business.
Oh, that's so good to know. And could you explain more about, you said instruments, and you, briefly have mentioned a few examples. If I would be an entrepreneur who wanted to start in your region, what should I do? Where do I start? I've watched this, and then?
First of all, get in touch. Indeed, we are there personally also to talk with companies, and we have a big team in different departments to help the companies to the right instruments, if that is indeed what a company wants, of course. So that is always step one. We can always make the link with the embassies. We have in all 4 countries, we have Netherlands embassies, as we also saw in the videos, of course. So we are also there to make a link with the economic officers at the embassies, for example. We have great professional economic officers from the countries itself. We will also see them in the breakout sessions. They are, of course, of incredible value because they have the networks, they have the knowledge. But as a Netherlands Enterprise Agency, we can make that link, but we can also make links within our organization itself to the people, to the professionals who are the experts on the various instruments. Maybe to give an example, let's say you are a bit further already in your thinking. You want to set up a processing plant in Slovakia, for example. There is an instrument called the DHI instrument.
What's that?
That stands for demonstration projects, investment preparation studies and feasibility studies. But for example, you think like I will start a production facility. You can try to get this instrument and start a demonstration project in Slovakia with the expertise and the knowledge and that you already have as a company, and actually implement that in a country like Slovakia. And then this instrument from our Netherlands Enterprise Agency is there really to support you in that process.
And is it sort of a questionnaire, or how does that look, that instrument?
Yeah, so of course everything starts with a conversation with one of our professionals. Again, I can be there to make that link also, and of course you explore together with this the subsidy advisor. Okay, would this be an instrument that can work for your company? If that's the case, then your company can indeed fill in a certain format itself in close contact with the advisor, and if everything is up to the standards that are necessary, then from there the project can go to the implementation phase. It's actually a very short process. A demonstration project would only last a year, for example, but it's a great entrance strategy or an expansion strategy for a company to start or expand their business in a foreign country.
Yeah, and you said a subsidy person or contact person?
So within Netherlands Enterprise Agency, we have all kinds of advisors on the various subsidies that are available. I was just mentioning the DHI instrument, but also for other instruments, there are subsidy advisors. So people working at the Netherlands Enterprise Agency whose job it is to actually advise and support companies in applying for these instruments, and also in the implementation process consequently.
So you have your own contact person for a certain amount of time then, or how does that work? Do you see that person daily or weekly when you get in contact?
It depends a bit on the instrument, of course, but for example, a demonstration project, that would be a time span of maybe in total 2 years from, let's say, starting the application till finalizing the implementation. And you can indeed be in regular touch with such a subsidy advisor. But there's also other instruments that support you in joining a trade mission or joining an international exhibition. They are much smaller. It's also more low key to let's say to apply for such a subsidy. And then companies can do most of it itself. But even for these smaller instruments, there's always colleagues available that can advise and support on this. So indeed, generally, I would recommend to get in touch if you have a specific idea of entering one of the 4 markets that we are talking about today. Please get in touch, and then we can always find the right tailor-made solution to support you in starting your business there.
So even if you don't really know yet which instrument you want to use, you can just give you guys a phone call, and then you sort of brainstorm together what would fit most?
For sure, yes. Yeah. We have colleagues at our client support department, for example, who can have that first phone call with any company, and also divert to other colleagues if necessary. Yeah. So it is pretty straightforward, and I think after this broadcast today, we will share all the necessary contact details.
And people don't have to be shy to phone you. Are there not restrictions or things you really have to be able to show before you can get some help from you guys?
Not at all. I mean, this is what we are for, right? Yeah. We are really there to support Dutch companies in their international business. That's also our mission. Mm-hmm. The first thing that we want is to expand also foreign business, international business of Dutch companies. Definitely don't be shy. Get directly in touch. And I mean, if it doesn't work out, that's also possible, of course. But first, we have to find out together if we can support you in your international business.
Yeah, and you mentioned missions. So that means you can go on a trip and explore. That sounds really nice.
That's indeed a fantastic way, of course. Like Willem and Jan-Willem also mentioned, go to the country itself is always the best way to explore whether you can actually find a business opportunity there. We have, for example, in the life science and health sector, a mission coming up to Hungary and Romania, focused on digital healthcare solutions. So yeah, these kind of trade missions, they are organized on a regular basis, especially if we have already established, okay, there could be very good business opportunities in this specific sector in this country. Then we go on a trade mission together, for which companies can always apply. It doesn't have to be expensive, and it's indeed the best way, of course, to find out, okay, is this country and this market a good match for my company? But it depends, of course, a little bit. Do we already know whether there can be a good opportunity for Dutch companies to position themselves in certain markets? We will not just organize a business mission from scratch. Often we have already known through a sector study or through contact with the embassies, okay, this is actually a good opportunity, and let's go on a trade mission to find out.
Yeah, and you said, well, it doesn't have to be expensive, but so you don't buy the tickets for all the entrepreneurs?
No.
That's a shame.
We call that the out-of-pocket cost. That's always for the entrepreneurs themselves, but the participation fees are often not expensive, and even for these kind of fees, there are often instruments available if necessary to support you on that. In that sense, I would like to also briefly focus the attention on the EU trade program. Companies that have been affected by the Brexit are also highly encouraged to register for our EU trade program, and this is also an opportunity to support you in finding alternative markets like Poland, like Czech Republic, like Hungary, like Slovakia, and for example, join a mission together or go to an international exhibition. We want to actively facilitate exploring alternative markets than the UK after Brexit. So I would like to make everybody aware we have this program. Let's make use of it and indeed join us on a mission or go to an international exhibition, and probably we can support you as a Netherlands enterprise agency.
Well, that's a very interesting message for everybody who's watching, I would say, yeah. And well, just to sort of get a picture in my mind, well, you go there, you buy your ticket yourself, you get there, and what happens during such a mission? What do you guys do then?
Well, the most important thing is, of course, that the Dutch companies that participate meet local counterparts with who they can actually do business. Often that's companies from Poland or any of the other countries itself. Can also be a government agency, of course. It depends on the business. That's always goal one. There will be company visits. There will be embassy receptions, network receptions. It's all about, of course, meeting as many relevant contacts as possible during such a trade mission, and it is about getting insights about the specifics of a market, the specifics of a sector. So these two things, I think, are the core goals of a trade mission. And to countries like the 4 countries that we are discussing today, it also doesn't have to be a 5-day mission. It could be 2 or 3 days sometimes. Like I said, the life science and health mission to Hungary and Romania in this case is a bit longer because we combine 2 countries, so it will be 4 days. But it doesn't have to take too much time of a company.
And when is this life science and health mission going to happen?
That's March 20 to 23.
So that's quite
next
quick.
year already. It has just been officially announced.
So we don't have a scoop anymore.
No, that scoop is gone. But that's for companies in that sector. That's a great opportunity. But I think, as we also heard before, there are other great opportunities coming up. We have the state visit to Slovakia with a business component on circular economy coming up. There will be a Netherlands-Polish business forum later in the year. So all kinds of business opportunities and trade mission opportunities are actually coming up next year. We should also not forget the big international industrial exhibition, the MSV in Czech Republic in October. I would say for all the different markets that we have discussed today, great events are coming up for companies to participate in.
Wow. And is it ever fully booked that you say, well, I want to go, but then, oh, sorry, no place left for me?
Most of the time, this will not. I mean, we will always see, okay, maybe we plan for 12 mission participants, but we will always try to facilitate as many relevant companies as possible. It could happen, of course. Our capacity is also not, let's say, limitless. But if you're, especially when you apply in time, this doesn't often happen.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good to know. So they don't have to be afraid that it's too late. That's always an option. Yeah, oh, that's good. And which other instruments would you like to tell a bit more about?
Maybe for companies that are in the business a bit longer, it's good to mention the Partners for International Business instrument. This is an instrument where you work together in a group of companies, often with a knowledge institute also involved. There, the Dutch government itself is also more involved, so it's really a public-private cooperation. And this is also a bit of a longer program, maybe 3 years, in which you really try to position a whole sector or a group of companies in a market like one of the ones that we are discussing today. But this is an instrument, I would say, that is mostly interesting for companies that are a bit more established, maybe already, or at least have a very strong cooperation with companies that have already some business in the 4 countries that we are discussing today.
Okay, good to know. Well, I actually just looked at the time and we're running a bit over. With so much interesting information you are sharing with us. If people want to know more, because you haven't told everything at all yet, because we don't have time enough, can they contact you?
Anytime, I would say. And like I said, I may not always be the person that knows everything, but I can always divert to one of the many colleagues that we have at the Netherlands Enterprise Agency about the various instruments that are there, the various subsidies that are there to support companies. I would really encourage everybody, please join us in the breakout sessions about circular economy and sustainable mobility after the break, because there we really go a bit more into the specifics, and every embassy will also highlight the opportunities in these 2 sectors in the different countries. There will be interesting companies also joining to share their experiences. One last thing I would like to mention is today we have seen some very successful male entrepreneurs, but actually at the Netherlands Enterprise Agency, we really want to also encourage that more women...
Girl power!
Well, definitely more women start doing business in these countries. Our Director International actually just won a prize on supporting also female entrepreneurship, and I think that's something that's really in the DNA of Netherlands Enterprise Agency also. That is very important, that we also get more women in the various countries that we discussed today in business.
I can only encourage that. Thank you so much, Auke. Well, as Auke already said, next up are the breakout sessions. Thank you so much for watching and participating as well with the poll questions and sending in your Q&As. I'm very grateful for that. Well, as said, you can watch this video back at the page where you registered, and through that registration page, you can click the link to go to your breakout session. Well, we'll keep it short because we've run over time. Thanks again for watching, and see you another time.